Hello everyone. In this video, we will be creating a Kubernetes operator for our private 5G core. Here is the diagram for the end-to-end deployment. So, the basic flow of this diagram is something like this. First, using the operator SDK, we create a new CRD API and a new controller. To this, we provide Helm chart that the operator will manage. This Helm chart essentially is the blueprint for deploying the application we want to manage. And as you know that in a Kubernetes operator, it has a controller which compares the desired state of our application with the actual state in the Kubernetes cluster. So if both of these states does not match, the controller will execute the necessary steps to correct it. So basically, if there is any mismatch between the states, the controller is triggered into action. So again, coming back to our Helm chart. So the Helm chart, which is stored locally in the operator project, and once the API and the controller are set up, we can build the ngCore operator Docker image, and this image can be pushed to the Docker Hub registry. So from there, we can pull it to our Kubernetes cluster. So after that, we deploy our operator over the Kubernetes cluster. So once we have operator deployed, we interact by creating instances of the ngCore custom resource. These instances are defined in the YAML, and then we apply them on the cluster using kubectl. So again, if you want a detailed explanation of this, the whole flow of this diagram, I encourage you to go to our docs, which is docs.ngcore.com, and you can find the explanation under the ngcore operator section. This video is for the deployment purposes, and so we will move ahead with it. So as you can see on the screen, I have created a kind cluster, and for this deployment you need four basic requirements. The first requirement is Docker, which should be on your machine. Next, you should have Helm, and along with that you should have a Kubernetes cluster. And another thing that is necessary for this deployment is the operator SDK CLI. So I have all the things inside this machine right now. So the first thing I will do is I will create a folder for my operator. We'll go inside it. So the first step is to initialize the operator. We will do it right here. Once you do this step, you can see there will be some files and directories which will be created. So the next step is to create an API. So after initializing the operator, we have to create an API. So we will paste this command here, and just a few changes in this. So the Helm chart that we are going to provide, so I am providing the Helm chart for my for the ngCore, which we have our own core and we have a Helm chart for it. So I have stored it inside this path, ngCore charts, and for this deployment I will be using ngCore 5G chart. So once you do that, yeah, it is applied, and now we can move ahead to the next step. So now we have to install the custom resource definition. Right, so it has created a CRD. The next step is to build and push the operator Docker image. So just to remind you, I am using this GitHub repository as a reference. You can do that too, but again you have to change the name of your Docker registry right over here, and to make sure you have just logged in from your Docker account, you can just run this command to check. So yeah, it's done. So you can export that image, image variable, sorry, and I have logged in through the account of ngCore. So yeah, I will put this. So after that you can push that image to your Docker repository. This takes some time. So the next step is to deploy that image. So that image is deployed. You can just have a look. Kubectl get crd. So you can see it's right over here. So now let's move on to the next step. So now we will apply this YAML, and once this is done, this will basically deploy all the applications that you wanted, and it starts managing them. So now we can have a look at our pods. So you can see all of our pods are up and running. Took a few restarts, but now it's up. So you can see AMF, AUSF, NRF, MySQL, UPF, UDR, UDM, all of them are up and running. And yeah, so our operator has done its job. So after this, you can go over, and if you want to uninstall your deployments, you can follow these steps. And just another thing I need you to know right now, so the name of the operator that I have chosen here, so you can see here's the name. And so the first name ngcode, this is the kind. The second demo is the group, and ngcode.com is the domain. So if you look at my previous steps, I have specified all of this, and so now you can name your operator accordingly. And that was all for this time. Thanks a lot.